I will not introduce it any further than that. After the speeches, we will have announcements. Stick around for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody here? To me, Zoey Turek is emblematic of what we as faculty and students hope our school to be. Intellectually, she is not prissy and shallow, but tough and challenging and individualistic. Socially, she is open and engaging and a joiner. Nice combination. Tall praise. Her own person. Sensible and wise. This has not always been the case. As recently as sophomore year, I can remember loud pronouncements and enthusiasm from her about joining a coterie of teen girls to see the midnight premiere of Twilight. And then months later, insisting still that the movie was, quote, very meaningful, unquote. She had some maturing to do. And what she has learned and what you will hear today about her Country Day journey may very well surprise you. Clearly, the seeds of Zoey's depth and understanding were planted long ago. But the very real struggles she faced are exactly the same as the struggles you all face daily. Who am I? What do I want to be? And critically, how do I combine these self-interested desires with the goals of sharing, of being a team member, of being a part of a community? And in Zoey's case, being a great part and a great participant in that larger community. Her take on this relationship is profound and educational. That constant book reading helped her journey without TV and other video outlets is a pleasure, I'm sure, for teachers to hear. But Zoey's floating with the fishes required more brains and bravery than books alone can supply. And her awareness and understanding, the context, the environment, is an equally important message for us all. My advisory, our advisory, has been a particularly close one these past few years. And their advice to me for these introductory comments was to remember to present Zoey as a member of our advisory family. I would add that our smaller family, similar to our exceptional larger family at Country Day, is made up of both strong individuals and strong bonds. Zoey gives us great insights into this complex and complementary process. Zoey Turek.
I think I'm missing something. Hold on. All right, I'm ready. Once upon a time, there was a young girl who had a dream to grow up, become an astronaut, ballerina, firewoman, dinosaur, cure cancer, and marry a movie star. While this young girl might have gone on to do all these things and more, I wouldn't know, because that girl is not me. I am different. Pause for dramatic effect. I live in a mid-sized town in North San Diego County, but I go to an exclusive private school in La Jolla. My parents cannot afford to buy me a car like many of my classmates' parents can, so I wake up at 5:45 every morning to get to school by 8, because it takes an hour to get to school on the school bus. Woo! Yeah, I ride the bus. Instead of traveling to places like Paris, Ecuador, or even Mexico for spring and summer breaks, more often than not, I am at home, or my second home, the Barnes & Noble my mother has worked at for almost my entire life, curled up in a squishy chair with a good book. My parents have never believed in the merits of television or video games, so I grew up with only books to entertain me. Thanks to the wonders of the internet, which apparently thanks to spell check begins with a capital I, I've been able to tune into the pop culture of my generation in the past few years and no longer seem to live under a rock. But this change is only recent. When I was younger, there were 3 things I was absolutely certain would be in my future. I defined myself by these 3 things, using that skeleton to flesh out the rest of what my future would be. Looking back, these things that were then so important to me seem silly, but not too silly to share them. I was going to be Zoey Turek. 1, a citizen of London, England. 2, who had a tattoo. And 3, owned a motorcycle. While I would still like these things to happen, I no longer define my future through only small details. If any seniors remember me way back in 7th grade, you'll probably remember I was a bit weird. When I first arrived at Country Day, the differences between my new classmates and myself seemed overwhelming. I had come from a public middle school with approximately the number of students Country Day has in total in only 3 grades. I went from being lucky if I spotted a friend amidst the rush of students to knowing every single student, not only in my grade, but in the grade above as well. In order to cope with my new intimate setting, I decided to completely reinvent myself into the kind of student that I thought went to school at Country Day. Most of my new classmates had not experienced the awful feeling of being funneled from a relatively small elementary school to a monstrous middle school, where my favorite game became find your friends before the lunch period is over. Grade levels at Country Day function like small towns, and being the new kid is like moving into town barely knowing where you've moved. My awkwardness in 7th grade can be chalked up to my misguided attempts to fit into this pre-established community. I had landed in a pond of individuals, a fish who had been used to swimming unnoticed in the ocean, now forced to habituate to a personalized aquarium. Everyone at Country Day was such an individual, and I decided that the best way to fit in was to stand out as much as possible. If I demonstrated constantly that I was as much my own person as everyone else, then they were sure to welcome me, right? I can assure you through experience that this is not the best logic. All my attempts at fitting in by standing out might have had exactly the opposite effect I was looking for, but I was lucky enough to find a group of fish that were used to accepting those new fish that acted a bit weird but really meant well. Without them, I surely would have become a social piranha. Piranha. Thank you. Because my transition was so rocky, I am fascinated with the even newer students that have joined the community in my 6 years at Country Day. I often wonder what kind of person I would become if I had not found my clique. But it is impossible for me to picture my 6 years at Country Day any other way. At the beginning of each new year, students are faced with a dilemma that I remember vividly. Whom should I hang out with? What group do I fit best in? Who is willing to hang out with the new kid? I've tried to figure out some kind of mathematical equation that determines which group a new kid will join, but as of now I'm stumped. Somehow, magically, everyone seems to find the group that they fit perfectly with, and which fits perfectly with them, in only a week or so. I'm lucky. I can make friends wherever I go, in part because I'm more comfortable in a group than being alone. I love the power being in a group of people gives you, but I love feeling a sense of belonging the most. I'm the kind of person that will go all out for Spirit Days, wearing blue and white overlapping soccer socks, blue eyeliner and mascara, and blue ribbons in my hair, in addition to a Tory shirt. My closet has way too much blue in it. I love the sense of belonging to something bigger than myself, and while seeing everyone wearing the same color kind of freaks me out, I love feeling part of a whole. I love joining clubs, participating in sports teams, going to sports games, and essentially everything Country Day has to offer. I'll admit it, I even love riding the bus, and knowing the name of almost every high schooler. I've become friends with people whom I normally would never have talked to by riding the bus. And trust me, there's no way not to be friends with people you see every morning and every afternoon for an hour. Like I said earlier, Country Day really feels like a community to me, and I feel weird not knowing someone's name. It's like not knowing your neighbor. Possibly the most important quality I possess is loving a group mentality, but remaining a thoroughly defined entity the entire time. And now we reach the main point of my speech. I've brought along a visual aid to illustrate these qualities. As you can probably see, this is a rainbow penguin. As you all know, penguins are black and white, a fact that has made them key specimens for demonstrating uniformity and monotony. However, this penguin is rainbow colored, a quality that no other penguin possesses. This penguin is still obviously a penguin, but it has defining characteristics that differentiate it from every other penguin. I am a penguin because I cannot live without the support provided by a community, and more personally, my friends. Yet I am a rainbow penguin because I have a way of standing out in a crowd. I'm not quite sure exactly who I am, but I don't think anyone can truly know who they are by the time they graduate from high school. Getting to know oneself takes much longer than 18 years, and I'm definitely not going to rush this process. I enjoy the freedom not knowing exactly who I am has given me, a freedom to experiment with my image, testing out multiple different personas. Sometimes I'll ask my mom if what I'm wearing looks good, and she'll shrewdly reply, "Not really, but you're a teenager, so you can get away with it." I've had every hair color except blonde, yet, and almost every haircut in the books, and I love wearing quirky clothes no one else would dare try. While it may not be completely obvious, I actually do like clothes and the infinite possibilities that await me when I open my closet door in the morning. In a way, this experimentation has helped to define my sense of self. Perhaps I am the kind of person who thrills at constantly reinventing myself. But no matter what I wear, no matter what color my hair is, no matter who I am friends with, I will enjoy every minute of my journey to discover who I am, especially while speeding across a bridge over London's Thames River on my shiny new Ducati, the wind whipping through my multicolored hair, and a rainbow penguin tattoo on my shoulder.